Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're excited to have Nick Brose, a key figure at TMC Marketing. Based in Kenosha, Wisconsin, TMC Marketing, founded in 2021, is a full-service digital marketing agency revolutionizing how businesses enhance their online presence through data-driven strategies and creative solutions. With over 2,000 pieces of content posted and experience across 20-plus industries, Nick and his team are dedicated to delivering measurable results. We'll be exploring his founding story, how TMC Marketing empowers clients in the digital space, and his vision for scaling this dynamic agency. With that being said, let's dive right in. Nick, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me.
An absolute pleasure having you on the show, Nick. So would love to start at the top for our listeners, Nick. Take us back to the beginning, if you can. What specific problem in the digital marketing landscape really inspired you to start TMC Marketing?
Actually, it's funny. We stumbled onto this by accident.
Hmm.
We first launched this. I'd worked in a lot of different industries. I was 11 years in food and beverage. I worked in as a mortgage broker, as a customer service agent, selling
Yeah.
office supplies. But somewhere along the way, I started a podcast network.
Ah,
And the goal was to bring growing shows together that didn't have access to all the big resources for the big shows that are available and allow them to network and kind of grow off of each other. We started growing that. Things picked up faster and bigger than I'd ever anticipated. We were doing live shows for a few of our podcasts. I was flying around. We were doing some sold out shows. It was pretty cool.
wow.
And then, right as we were about to really start powering through, COVID happened, 2020, everything shut down, and we had to figure out where to pivot from there. So we launched what was called Titan Media Collective, which is actually where the TMC comes from. We opened it up to all sorts of content creators. So we had streamers, YouTubers, podcasters, all in this network creating a bunch of different types of content. But working with growing creators doesn't really bring in a lot of money, at least out of the gate. In the meantime, somebody has suggested, why don't you take the marketing strategies that you're teaching your content creators and start applying that to businesses to try to bring in clients that way? That was before I really understood what digital marketing was. I knew about marketing, but the whole digital side of it was, there were things that I was doing myself and with our creators, but hadn't really thought to apply it to businesses. So we started doing that. And then over the last 3.5 years ish, the marketing side just blew up. The content side fizzled out, and now we're 100% doing just the digital marketing. So it was a very roundabout way to get to where we are now, but
Yeah,
learned a
absolutely.
lot along the way.
That's the beauty of being a founder, right? It's the journey of getting there, how you got there, why you're here, and the success that you're seeing. Walk us through the nuts and bolts. We'd really love to understand, especially for our listeners who can end up coming and working with you after the episode airs. Help us really understand how you're generating revenue today, especially with the main focus being the marketing side. What's the core offer there? I know you guys have SEO, paid ads, content creation. If that's still there, how do you structure your core offer for your clients when they come to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's also shifted a little bit along the way. So when we started off, we were really doing a lot of a la carte stuff. We had a couple of social media clients, we'd have an SEO client here and there. We work in some email marketing, and it was all just one off clients that had just one piece of the puzzle. And over the last, like I said, 3 years, we started to understand that, okay, while we're working with these smaller businesses who can maybe only afford one or two pieces of the puzzle, it was very difficult for us to generate results because the rest of their marketing funnel wasn't really working.
Mm.
So what we've shifted to over the last year or so is really focusing on building our frameworks and building packages that have at least pieces of each of the different facets of marketing. Our baseline is social media with some SEO and some Google ads in there. So we can deliver the quick results with the Google ads while we're building up your awareness and building up your traffic through SEO. And that's really helped us scale our results for our clients and help them feel more comfortable with that return on investment, especially when it's, on the social media side. That was one of our biggest challenges, was just managing that expectation of social media is an awareness platform. It's not going to change your business overnight. And so we had to manage that and figure out ways to bring those quick wins.
Gotcha. So with that there, really focusing, it sounds like you have multiple packages that you have depending on the business and sitting down, consulting them and saying, okay, here's what we can do most for you. Talk to us about scale. How do you approach the idea of scale with this type of model? Especially because I've had other founders that are doing similar fulfillment models and they mentioned sometimes it's a bit difficult to do that. How are you approaching the idea of scale with what you're offering?
Yeah, so that's how we position our packages so that you can come in with us at the beginning, have something. We do still have a baseline social media or get found package, which is SEO and Google Ads. So we can meet you where your business is at, and then our packages are meant to scale up with your business. So then as we're starting to drive results, okay, maybe now it's time to work on to the next one. We're implementing email marketing or upscaling the SEO. We're doing more on that end, all the way up to our top package, which is essentially we assign somebody to your account and they're working a minimum of 20 hours a week, just whatever you need, unlimited social, SEO, blogs, whatever it is, working with them to get to that point where they can have kind of the benefits of the team and essentially a CMO without having all of those costs and training and boarding and turnover that comes with actually hiring an in-house team.
I love it. I love that. On that front, then obviously you guys are doing so much for your clients, especially on the acquisition side. So walk us through what's working best for you right now on the acquisition side. What channels convert the best for you, whether it is that ad side or organic or referrals. Walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, we've been really lucky with referrals, just trying to drive business with our clients or drive results with our clients, and then reaching out to them. And the word of mouth has been great, and clients referring us. They call us up, hey, I've got somebody that was talking about marketing, and I said, hey, these are the guys for you. So that's been our biggest one. We do some cold outreach. We do email marketing. Actually, one of the things that we've been shifting over the last probably 6 to 8 months is trying to actually build up our sales team and build up that sales process, because I've been out in the field and doing a lot of the day-to-day work, which is another thing that I'm trying to work myself out of, but haven't had the time to actually do the sales stuff. Somehow we managed to essentially double in growth year over year, and that was with me not doing any sales work pretty much three quarters of last year. We're just trying to really refine that sales process and get our team going on that front so that we can push down on the gas.
Amazing. From that, I didn't hear anything around ads. So talk to us through that a bit. Is that something that you are doing, or what do you think about when it comes to continuing to scale, build that sales team? Is the ad something you're going to continue to implement into that plan, or how does that look for you?
Yeah, so we do run a little bit of ads here and there. It hasn't been a big part of it, just as we bootstrapped the company. We didn't have a huge marketing budget to put back into our own stuff, so we relied on a lot of the same tactics that we're implementing with our clients. So we work on our SEO, putting blog posts out, refining our website, updating that, making sure that's all set to go so that we're ranking for the keywords organically and trying to drive that traffic. That's actually been a huge part of it, is just seeing us starting to hit top position for more keywords, outranking some of our competitors in the area, just working really hard at that and trying to put that into place, but also leading by example, saying, hey, we're doing this for ourselves. What better case study? We can do it. That's been probably the biggest thing. Like I said, paid ads and all of that has been a very small piece of the puzzle that we're just starting to ramp up a little bit more now with some more Google ads and all that.
Amazing. Amazing. I definitely want to touch a bit more on that sales side that you just mentioned there. So you do have a small team, it sounds like it. You didn't do much on the sales side yourself. You're focusing more on the fulfillment side. So what does that look like? You have that sales team in place, you have a marketing team for yourself. What does that sales process look like internally for you right now?
Yeah, so like I said, it's fairly new. We're a small team of
Yeah.
6. So we actually just brought on another summer intern. So they're doing a lot of the prospecting, helping fill the pipeline for our salesperson who is making cold calls, trying to set appointments. Outside of that, myself and our team are always out trying to network. We're going to networking events. I'm going to one later today, just to go and get FaceTime with other people in the community, and you never know who you're going to meet. And we've really stepped up the networking over the last, I'd say, 6 months, just trying to get to every chamber event for the couple of chambers that we're a part of, other networking groups that we've heard of along the way. We're like, yeah, let's go check it out. Something comes across our Facebook events, so we're like, let's go to it. And that's now we're starting to see the payoff from that. We're starting to get some inbound calls and some people reaching out, and that's been really helpful. But yeah, it's like I said, just trying to get the sales stuff going from what I was doing to now a level where somebody else is doing it.
Yeah, just being able to continue to implement, grow, and now you have one sales guy. You want to add more A players, setters, and closers into the system to really take that to the next level. Completely makes sense with where you are. Talk to us a bit here, Nick, about what you're thinking about on the bottleneck side of things, whether that is quality, consistent, predictable lead generation, or converting those clients when they do come in, or the fulfillment side of things. What are you thinking about on the bottleneck side that you're looking to really get solved?
Yeah, so the big thing that I really took a lot of time to focus on leading into this year, right? We set out our whole year-long plan, 5 year, took a lot of time at the end of 2024 to plan out what the business is going to look like over the next 3 to 5 years. And then more immediately, just over the next 4 quarters. So with that was our kind of our growth plan as far as fulfillment, because when we started, I'll admit I had a challenge charging what we were worth,
Right.
especially when we're doing things like social media. To me, that was something that I was thinking to myself, I'm like, anybody could do this. Why should somebody pay me $1,000 a month to do something that they can do themselves? And it didn't occur to me until a little bit into it that people don't have the time or the knowledge. And there's so much more to it, the research that we do and the content creation and all that. But at the beginning, that was tough. So we ended up having a lot of work on my plate. Then we brought on an intern, Megan. She's been with us for 2 years. She's fantastic. And she has taken the social media stuff off my plate. And the goal is to follow that sort of pattern is as we're hitting every 5 to 10,000 MRR that we bring on,
Yeah.
we're upgrading an intern to an employee or finding somebody for that position so that we can continue to grow and scale at a manageable pace. And again, sometimes it's tough because sometimes we take on projects and we realize, okay, this is a lot more work than we anticipated, and now our plates are full, and we're not quite at that point to where we can bump that person up. So it's just been learning that balancing act. But yeah, just working out our org chart, understanding what that structure is going to look like over the next year as we're starting to grow there. That's been the real focus to make sure that we don't hit that bottleneck where we can't
Right.
fulfill the stuff that we're promising.
Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense on that side. I know that we've pretty much touched on my next thing, and that was more for the vision. For the rest of 2025, from the sounds of it, you're looking to really get some more A players on that sales team for yourself to really get yourself out of that side of the business and really on the fulfillment side where you know that you can provide the highest quality, continuing to grow the team, scale on that front. So that's the focus for the rest of the year. So talk to us on this front. Where do you see the digital marketing industry evolving in the coming years, Nick, especially with your data-driven approach? What are you really doing to put TMC at the forefront of that evolution?
Yeah, that's a great question. We really had to think long and hard about that as we were looking ahead because it's changing so much daily. That's another thing when I was considering, okay, what are we actually worth is realizing the value of us having our finger on the pulse at all times. With AI, with all of these new tools and features that are out there, and the change in how people are searching for things using ChatGPT to do search instead of going to just a regular Google search, like all of these things that are constantly changing. And for us, it's just staying on top of it and making sure that our frameworks are at least short term kind of time proof, at least for the next 2 to 3 years. These frameworks are going to be able to work for anybody in any industry, and that's what we really wanted to focus on. And it's because it's research driven, right? We're not going to approach somebody in the fitness industry the same as we're going to approach somebody in like a manufacturing industry. We're going to research those separately and develop the strategy based on what we're finding is working there. And by doing that research also, it's going to keep us up to date on what is actually working in those spaces. It's hard to say, but just even looking back a year ago, how much it's changed. It's night and day. The processes and the tools that we're using and the automations that are in place. But what I think is actually going to happen in the digital marketing space is a little bit of a shift away from AI driven content because it's so saturated now and people are, I think, a little bit hungry for more real. And
Yes.
AI is great. We use it daily. I train my team on how to get the best input to get the best output. We build different bots and use it for
Mm.
coding and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't replace that human connection. I think the AI is gonna ramp up a little bit more, and then I think we're gonna start to see a big pushback toward human driven content.
That organic, that good old
Yeah.
organic. That's it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that front. With that there, Nick, I want to take us into the lightning round here and would really love to hear about a tool or a resource. You just touched on it a bit there, using a lot of AI, but either whether it's AI or a data analytics platform or a campaign strategy, what's been the biggest game changer for TMC this far?
Yeah, where do I begin? We use so many of them. We use SEMrush, I think, has been a big one. I actually just had a call with them the other day. SEMrush has been a big one across the board. They're our SEO platform. They're constantly trying to upgrade, but we use that for a lot of keyword research, just topic research, understanding. If you can understand the searches that are going on, you can better understand the problems that the consumer is facing in that field. So that's a big one. I use a program called Motion
Mm,
that I love. It's my personal assistant that's run by AI, so I
yeah,
can put all my tasks and everything in there. That's helped me stay organized and on task and make sure that as we continue to get busier and we have more deliverables, that things don't slip through the cracks because it can be very easy for that to happen.
yeah.
So it schedules my whole day out for me. And then, yeah, ChatGPT and Gemini, two big ones. I use those a lot. And again, I think it's how you use it. We get asked that a lot. People come in and they're like, "Do you use AI?" And I sometimes I feel like they're asking that because they're like, "I can go and use AI." But at the end of the day, it's how you use it. And we work really hard to feed it as much information as we can, do the research with it, but then take that and create our own stuff. And that's, I think, what separates us from people who type in, "Hey, give me a caption for this post."
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest factor, right? Is being able to utilize AI to its fullest capabilities to enhance what we're able to do, right? Save time, just get everything streamlined and be able to provide as high quality as possible with that. I absolutely love what you're able to do and utilize with that, especially in the field you're in. So with that, I just want to finish us off here, Nick, with a bit of advice for our listeners. So what's something that you can offer to the people tuning in right now, other founders, entrepreneurs, either just getting started on their business ventures or in the middle of it? What can you offer them before we wrap up?
The I think the biggest thing that I learned was right about after our first year, things weren't going the way we wanted to. I was about a week from turning the switch off. I said, you know what? I'm going to give it another 3 months. If we don't hit it after that, so I hit my breaking point, and then I said, give me 3 more months past that, and almost magic. The next day, we signed two new clients. Those next 3 months, things turned around, and we were able to see, okay, we're on the right path, we're doing the right thing. I'd say for anybody who is building their business, you're going to hit that point where you're ready to close the doors and say, okay, we gave it a fair shot. Give yourself 3 months past your breaking point, and because at that point you're almost like, what else do I have to lose? And you just give it your all, and that's where the magic happens. It always happens right on the other end. If you've ever read Think and Grow Rich, think of the guy who stopped 3 feet short of hitting the gold mine. It's
I absolutely love that. With that right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. First and foremost, Nick, thank you so much coming on the show, sharing that incredible journey with us and your insights. And again, clear as day with your drive, your passion, your experience, how much you've been through to get to where you are. You're going to be able to continue to do some amazing things in this space. So thank you so much again. It was an honor to have you on the show. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out TMC Marketing at marketingtmc.com to learn more about their services and follow them on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/company/TMC Marketing. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.